Couldn't turn. The onion sellers were equally waiting for the finance minister to come to the market. He couldn't go. Now he's moving from TV station to TV station. So, Mr. Speaker, I second the motion, and we are ready on Tuesday to be able to unlock a lot of information that contained in the minister's statement. And the minister is very lucky that he didn't go to the market before coming to this chamber. Probably he would have been attacked by the market women because they are very angry. So, Mr. Speaker, we can adjourn.
So you heard the First Deputy Minority Chief Whip and MP for Tolon, Habib Idrisu. However, Majority Leader Mahama Yariga demanded that he withdraw and apologize for suggesting that market women were waiting to attack the Finance Minister, Dr. Kasiala Toforsin. Speaking on the floor of Parliament, Mahama Yariga described the remarks as irresponsible and arguing that it was unacceptable for an MP to imply that traders intended to assault the Finance Minister.
This level of irresponsibility cannot be allowed in this house. This level of irresponsible behavior, reprehensible behavior. How can you stand in this chamber and say that market women are planning to attack the Minister of Finance? That's what you've said. That's what you've said. You have just said that. You have said that if the minister had gone to the market this morning, the women would have attacked him. Why? To do what? Waiting for him to do what? Waiting for him to do what? You said that. That's very irresponsible. Very irresponsible of you as a member of parliament. Very irresponsible. You must withdraw that and apologize. You must withdraw that. You must withdraw that and apologize. Please. Please, this is getting out of hands. This is irresponsible behavior. Please, this is a serious house. This is not a place where we come and joke like clowns. You urge on me in, what do you call it? Conclave. At Conclave, that we should not start today. You of all people, you were there. You made a case why we should not start today. You. And I decided to accept. Otherwise, the original plan was that we would take 5 here and take 5 there. And you pleaded and pleaded and pleaded that we should start on Tuesday, and we accepted. Then you come and stand here, and then you get up and you say that this side didn't want to debate. That's why we haven't shown up. I will tell everybody what happened at Conclave. That was what happened. Speaker is my witness. Speaker is my witness. Speaker is my witness. The original plan was that we'll take 5 here, then we'll start. You made a case why we should wait till Tuesday, and I agreed with you. Then you get up in the chamber and say that this side is not ready for the debate, that's why we haven't come. They are here, they are ready. Let's start. Mr. Speaker, I withdraw my motion. Let's start the debate. I withdraw my motion. No, I withdraw my motion. We are starting the debate.
So that's the Majority Leader in Parliament, Mahama Ayariga. Meanwhile, the First Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Bernard Ahiafo, cautioned members of Parliament to exercise restraint in their remarks on the floor of the House, following a heated exchange between the majority and the minority over comments made during proceedings on the 2026 media budget review. He reminded MPs that while they enjoy constitutional immunity for statements made in Parliament, such remarks could still become matters of privilege and should therefore be made responsibly. He also noted that leaders of both sides had already agreed at a conclave to adjourn debate on the mid-year budget review until Tuesday because several parliamentary committees were sitting. Let's take a listen to the First Deputy Speaker.
The leader of the House was actually not paying attention when I was speaking. Mr. Speaker, what I said, and I'll repeat exactly what I said, Majority Leader, that in many occasions before the minister responsible.
Honorable members, to err is human, and to forgive is divine. Honesty is the best policy. It is the truth that will make all of us free. I have heard that if the finance minister had visited the markets before coming, the tomatoes and onion sellers would have attacked him. This is clearly on record. And if you go back to play the record will show that. So, honorable members, I have the cause to always admonish members that we have the constitutional immunity about whatever you say in this chamber. However, whatever you say can become a subject matter of privileges. Honourable members, we've agreed at conclave that after presentation of papers, we need to take adjournment in view of the fact that many committees are currently sitting. So we should defer the debate, the comment on the statement to Tuesday. So when you are called upon to second the motion for adjournment, you could do that in a simple language without any problem. And honorable members, let me state that the practice of this House is that when a motion is moved, until the motion is seconded, it is not for the consideration of the House. So before seconding the motion, why do you run commentary? This is unknown to our rules. You have to second the motion, and the Speaker will say, motion moved and seconded. It is for the consideration of the House. And at that point, if you have something to say, you can get up to say it. But before seconding the motion, it's not a time, it's not a period for making statements. So, honourable members, let us all take cue, do the right thing, and then we'll all be free. Honourable members, motion has been moved for adjournment, and the motion is seconded. It is for the consideration of the House.
So that's the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Bernard Agyemang. And now let's move to Parliament, where our parliamentary correspondent Zita Okwan joins us on the line. So Zita, if you can hear me, it's day one after the 2026 Media Budget Review presentation. Parliament has been heated from morning, I should say. Run us through some of the topical issues that transpired in the chamber today and what's currently happening in the chamber.
Well, Prempeh, I must say that Parliament has adjourned to next week Tuesday for sittings because as expected earlier, the debate for the media budget review wasn't able to take place because the business committee informed Parliament that commentary on the media budget review has been rescheduled or is yet to begin on Tuesday due to activities being undertaken by 5 committees at a retreat, which is considering bills referred yesterday. Earlier, we were supposed to, or the House was supposed to begin the debate on the media budget review. That's for today, tomorrow, and continue through to Monday. But then that has changed as the Business Committee of Parliament informed the House. So the debate for the media budget review is expected to begin on Tuesday, July 28th. Also, what we also need to know is that Parliament is expected to adjourn sine die on Friday, July 31, meaning Parliament will be going on recess indefinitely. But meanwhile, in the ensuing week, a total of 31 questions or MPs have been programmed for questions. So, CBE ministers, however, there are outstanding questions for the minister, the health minister, which the leader of the House also assured that it's been rescheduled. So, basically, these are what's happened in the House today. Unfortunately, the debate couldn't start for the media budget. We couldn't start today. And also, Parliament is not sitting tomorrow on Monday, but then beginning Tuesday, 28th of July, and then will rise on the 31st of July, which is Friday. Prempeh.
Right. Very well. Thank you so much for the report, Zita. So you had our parliamentary correspondent, Zita Okwan, and we've also been joined in studio by a member of the NDC's communications team, Dr. Stephen Isaka Kofi Adams. Doc, good evening and thanks for joining us.
Good evening. Not sure where the Kofi Adams came from, but that is not to say I don't know him. We're quite good friends, anyway.
Right.
But Dr. Stephen Isaka is just enough.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So I'm sure. I'm not even. I'm sure you listened to the finance minister yesterday. Yeah. Before we delve into the minority and the majorities brouhaha in the chamber today, let me take your comments on the budget first. What were you expecting the minister to touch on, and after the reading, what's your reaction?
Absolutely. Good afternoon to your cherished listeners.
Mm-hmm.
Good afternoon to you. First time I have been on your show, and I'm grateful to be here.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon to the whole of Ghana, and of course to the NDC fraternity. My expectations were woven around whether there would be a mid-year appropriation bill, and thank God there wasn't. My expectations were around spending on infrastructure, the big push,
Right.
and other principal, if you like, cardinal NDC sort of campaign promises, and there was spending around that one. My expectations were around education and health, and I'm quite glad to say that yes, under the Public Management Act, where the finance minister is meant to come into Parliament and sort of give us a mid-year budget, I think it goes around macroeconomics forecast for the 6 months, where we have been, where we intend to go, and whether there's an appropriation bill or not, and if there is one, when he intends to bring one. And based on that, I think he scored almost 100% in my view. So yes, yes. So those are my opening remarks. That it was a masterclass, in how you turn an economy that is sinking, all right, to a great one, to one that is in a well-being studio. A masterclass in how you manage an economy prudently and shrewdly. A masterclass in how you turn around an ailing economy. It wasn't just a budget, in my view. It was a blueprint intended to put money in our pockets. And for me, it was a masterclass.
Right. So now let's come to Parliament. Day one after the media budget review, a lot has happened from the minority side to the majority side to the speaker intervening and all that. So you've probably heard some of the criticisms coming from the minority. You had the Deputy Chief Whip, Habib Idrisu, saying in the chamber that the traders, market women were waiting on the finance minister to just pounce on him because they need more. You also heard the majority leader countering this whole allegation or accusation, I should say. But I want to know, from where you sit as a member of the NDC's communications team, what do you believe is the strongest case the government has made for its economic program so far?
I suppose there's a lot we can sort of look at. Look, there's a lot in there for me. If I start from the back towards the front, I suppose the NPP was looking for an appropriation budget, all right? So they could craft foul about tax sort of increases. So they could sort of, as it were, go out there and spin that we are a tax, but tax increasing government. They didn't get that. On the contrary, what they got was a masterclass in how you operate within your means. What they got was a masterclass in how you don't spend what you do not have. And they have nothing to do apart from, shouting in Parliament. So the NDC is dazed. They are quaking in their boots. And as a result, their reaction is what we see in Parliament today, basically.
Right.
In terms of,
You can go ahead.
So in terms of, the highlights for me, look, from this budget, we know that Ghana is an economic superpower now, at least within the African sort of context. We haven't just gotten here talking. We haven't just gotten here asleep. It is taking prudence. It is taking shrewd management. It is taking financial, common sense to get where we are today. Apologies. As a consequence of that, we have an economy that is no longer pandering to the view that we are a junk economy. All right, we are an economy that is graded B with a positive outlook based on the things we have been doing since 2025, and of course in the last 6 months. We are an economic superpower within the African context to the extent that we have broken the glass ceiling for $100 million. All right, so we are now the eighth economy in Africa. All right, way to go. Of course, we would like to be first, but you start from the bottom and you make your way up. And so, to that extent, we are making strides. Another thing I saw with this budget was the idea that look, we are actually lifting and elevating Ghanaians out of poverty. How did we do that? You think about the fact that 950,000 have been taken out of poverty, multi-dimensional poverty. All right, so that scale is dropped by 3 percentage points.
The minority and a section of the public have raised concerns over the 950,000 that the finance minister said that they've moved out of multi-dimensional poverty. People are actually looking for an explanation into what is being termed or classified as multi-dimensional poverty. So since you are part of the NDC's communications team, you'll do the honors to explain the multi-dimensional poverty and how these 950,000 people were taken out of it.
You see, the NDC, apologies, the NPP's hypocrisy knows no bounds. Okay, what tends to happen is macroeconomics is good. The indicators are often good for the NPP when it works in their favor. As soon as it works against their favor, then, as we often say, the trends, the boundaries, the internationally recognized indicators don't matter anymore once it's not in their favor. Look, there is a tracking, all right? And every percentage points is matched to how much poverty you actually turn around. And so there's been a 3 percentage fall, all right? If you juxtapose that against our population and against those who are poor, or those of us who are, suffering from poverty, that amounts to 950,000. You can't change it. You can't redraw the rules simply because they're not in the NPP's favor. All right. Look, we are, as a party, as a government, what we have been focused on doing is reducing inflation. Okay. You can't tell me that reducing inflation does not go further to help the consumer. Of course, it helps the consumer. All right, obviously, when we talk about inflation, we're not saying that prices no longer go up. We're just saying that the prices are not going up as fast as they used to be. It's akin to the car driver analogy. All right, if you're driving a car if you have a reckless driver who is driving a car at 200 miles per hour, okay, and then we, say, look, this is dangerous. We move him aside and we bring in a more level-headed driver who is driving the car at a conservative 50 miles per hour. We are not saying that the car is no longer moving forward. The car is moving forward, but the speed at which it is moving is slowed down. Okay, so obviously, improving inflation or reducing inflation to single figures, of course, has a knock-on effect on how much we spend, therefore, on our pockets. All right. In addition to that, the CD is stable. The CD stability cannot be debated. All right. And so, therefore, all of these factors, all of these macroeconomic indicators, of course, should begin to filter down to the people. Obviously, it's always a long haul as to when they actually trigger in and when they filter into our pockets at home. Okay. In addition to that, in terms of employment, we have moved to the point where we have members of parliament, for example, giving up their common fund to master technicians, all right, who are then going on to employing people. And so if you put all these together, indeed, we are reducing multidimensional poverty. In any case, what is multidimensional poverty? That for your poverty, it's not just in one area. There are multiple areas, okay? So maybe healthcare. And therefore, if you have primary healthcare, then you solve that problem. Okay, maybe unemployment. If you're able to offer them a job, okay, it might not be a high-paying job, you solve that problem. Inflation, you're able to reduce the rate at which prices go up, you solve that problem. So it is very possible that we can get that. But once again, let me make it really clear that just because the indicators, just because the international standards don't favor a particular party, doesn't mean that the rules need to be redrawn. All right. So yes, I was on my flow on the highlights for the budget for me, and I'm going to sort of continue if you sort of
yeah.
So again, in that particular budget, we saw that it was an inflation busting budget. Okay, so again, inflation has been busted. We've moved from 23%, which we inherited, to single digits. Of course, it is hovered around, 4 and 5 and 3. We are on about 5.3 at the moment, and it is there. It is stable, and so it's something we can be proud of. Okay. In addition to that, there's also debt recovery in this particular budget. Okay, our GDP to debt ratio, or debt to GDP ratio, is gone down from 61%. Point something percent to about 45%. What that supposes is the fact that the money that is often spent in servicing our debts goes down. That money can then be rolled back and recapitalized into our economy. In addition to that, there's international claim by the IMF and the bodies that be, that indeed Ghana is beginning to turn the corner. All right, so we are leaving that intensive care unit into stabilization, and we are beginning to make progress as time sort of goes on. And so, if you look at our debt distress, it's no longer high, it is now moderate. In terms of sustainability, we're no longer just non-sustainable or unsustainable, we are now sustainable with shock absorbers. Compared to the case of the Land Cruiser or the Range Rover, if you like, there are indeed enough shock absorbers beneath our economy to be able to keep us afloat in terms of gold board's activity, in terms of the prudent and shrewd management, and of course in terms of the fiscal management role of the wealth of the Bank of Ghana. All right. We can go on. There's also the treasury bill miracle. But just before I land, I think what really inspired me yesterday was busting the jandam that we weren't spending as a government. In fact, we have spent 47.5% of the 302 roughly appropriation we got. So we've almost spent 50%, and it's mid-year. So let it be placed on record. Let no one say we are not spending. We are spending, but within our means.
Right. So on that spending, we will also come to the issue where the minority raised concerns that members of ministers and some ministries change of shorthand because the finance minister is not releasing funds into that. But we also want to get a reaction from some other political parties, and we've been joined on the phone line by Janet Nabla, who was the 2024 presidential candidate for the People's National Party. Hello, ma'am. Good evening, and thanks for joining us.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you for having me.
You're most welcome. So yesterday, the finance minister presented the 2026 mid-year budget. I believe you listened to him. And first off, I want to get your reaction to it. But I want to know, what were you expecting the government to touch on? And were they announced or were they touched on? And what's your reaction to it post-budget?
Thank you and your listeners this evening. Yesterday, it was a very sad day because not only for opposition political parties, but also for the ruling political parties. For the first time, a finance minister was in parliament, and even the year that when someone is claiming that he's doing something good that people usually shout, the MPs could not. You could sense from their voices that these are voices of hunger. They are hungry. They are hungry. It takes someone who has eaten and gotten satisfied to be doing yeah and shouting. But they could not. In fact, yesterday, whilst looking at them, I felt pity. I felt pity for the majority. Because these are people who have gotten nothing, who cannot even implement their policies from their various ministries. These are people that their constituents are feeling the heat. And they are putting it back to them. And we had a finance minister who came in and was talking about how the economy is robustful. He was talking about macro indicators. Look, these are not real. I don't know whether someone can tap our honorable minister to let him know that they are not real. What is real is what is happening in the market. What is real is that the inflation is now down. In the olden days, you could use $1 to go and get 16 Ghana cedis to get $1. And ideal milk was 7 cedi 99 cents. Today, Atoforsen have used our money to cushion businessmen. And yet, when you go to buy milk now, it's 14 Ghana cedis. How is that inflation, the low inflation, good for us? If you want to talk, they will tell you that is not how economics are are done. How is it done? You see? So yesterday's achievement, I think, was between Honorable Atuforton and then the business community, who are less than 1% of Ghana's population. Yesterday, I saw that a minister came and made announcement. You know, we have differences between announcement and then information. There was no information in the budget that he read. Information is, if you tell us that you have built schools, you would tell us that we were able to build 7 schools in this district, this place. We were able to do this. You are giving information to us for us to verify. But you come and be saying that we created jobs. You created jobs from where? We will want to know. The jobs that you created, or on which area were those jobs created? Yesterday, it was announcement. You see, the Women's Bank, I was thinking that maybe he will place more emphasis somehow on the Women's Bank, because the women of Ghana are suffering and they need loans with low interest rates to do businesses and pay back. But government got money to do nkuku and kitinkiti, to give our money, the taxpayers' money, to people for free, even though that wasn't what the agreement President Mahama told us. He told us that they were going to support poultry farmers. So when he said that, we said, okay, if you are supporting poultry farmers, these are people who already know how farming is done. All of a sudden, they are telling us that they gave the fowls to people and they chopped them and they were laughing. You think you can use my taxpayers' money to give it to some people that I never got even one fowl? If you are giving it, give it to the whole of Ghana. You cannot give to some and leave some. If you are telling me that you want to help poultry farmers and you tell them that you come and take loans and then the government can subsidize the loans for you and blah, 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 I'm okay with that. But Papa, that you will use our money to go and buy a cow and give it out to your party members and tell me that some of them were even snapping pictures of it and giving it to you. Me, a PNP government in 2029, Iyoko will have to invite the minister for agri, and every petrol that was given out will have to be reimbursed. Because I think that political parties come up with flagship programs and they use it to siphon money from the government sector. That's what they do. Because they don't want to do anything, they will come out with flagship programs like pads, sanitary pads, whatever. They do all these things to use it to take money and then they share it and will not do anything. If you say this is not true, the president told us that he gave the powers to 12 districts. What are the names of the 12 districts? He said he gave 720,000 powers out. Who did you give it to? These are figures that we should know. It's my money. It's not your money. If it is like NDC party dues and you are doing whatever you want, it's okay. This money is for Ghanaians. And then you use it to do things without telling us. To me, I think that yesterday was very sad. It was a sad day for the minority people in the opposition political parties, especially the PMP.
Right.
Because last night...
I'm listening.
Last night, I had a person who called me that the wife wanted to divorce him because he couldn't get money to give to the daughter to go for our day. And he himself could not get money to even go to work. So as we speak now, even salary of workers cannot be able to feed them and transport them to their worksite. That is the true reality on the ground, not Atuforton's budget that he came and read.
Right. So
people have moved from the middle income earning line to poverty. It's not about figures. Yesterday I heard him say that Ghana is now standing on the 8th position in Africa.
Yeah.
But when you go to IMF, we are 10th. When you look at April 2026, the results that IMF brought out, Ghana is 10th. So I don't know where he's getting his figures from. Even the 10th, still, it's not real. It's not real. It's just figures.
Right. So you've talked about stalled projects or programs. You also mentioned that there was doubts from Parliament and the celebration in terms of the minister's announcement and the presentation was slow. But in terms of the Women's Bank, the finance minister gave an assurance that by end of year it should commence and start in terms of rural operations. What's your reaction to that? And the number that the government mentioned, that is 950,000 moved out of multi-dimensional poverty. We have a member of the NDC communications team, that is Dr. Isaka. He has explained what the multi-dimensional poverty means. From where you sit as an opposition political party, what's your reaction to that? The Women's Development Bank and the 950,000 moved out of multi-dimensional poverty in a year.
You see, whatever they are saying is not true. Before Nanado left power, a chicken, the box of chicken, at that time you could use $1 to get 16 cedis. And 16 cedis, $1. And a box of chicken was 300 Ghana cedis. Today, a box of chicken in the market is between 400 and 450 Ghana cedis. You ask yourself, are we going forward or coming backwards? So whatever they are saying, that people have moved from poverty to middle income or what and what, is not true. It is not real. People have moved from bad to worse. That's the truth. Because the truth of the situation is that people can no longer get enough food to eat. Have you seen that farmers are telling you that people are not buying? Even corn being 200, 300 Ghana cedis, people cannot buy. Because you don't have the money. You've seen the corn. You want to buy it to go and come and prepare banku TZ. You cannot because you don't have the money. My sister who used to complain that the prices are going up, now is telling me that it was far better. Because now the price is down, but people are not buying. It's not that people are not buying. People are dying of hunger. The serious situation is that people are dying of hunger. And it's not true that Ghana people have moved from bad to better. No, it's not true. They have moved from bad to worse. That's the truth. Concerning the Women's Bank, yesterday I heard him say that, so the Women's Bank, they are on it. They are not giving you a timeline. They are not giving time. And I heard that they said the market, the building of the market, they are using one for the Women's Development Bank. It is not only market women that are supposed to get the loans. Why are you putting the market the bank in a market? People who are into agri will also get money from that. People who are doing other things will also get money. Why are you building the thing? Why are you saying that after the market you will put one blah blah blah? It doesn't just make sense. Me, what I want to what I'm praying for the Women's Bank is that it should not become political like Matlock. The Women's Bank, the government should allow the Bank of Ghana to deal with it. It should not end up pinpointing politicians to come and handle it. Mm-hmm. Because when that happens, these politicians will now pick people who are not business people and tell them, maybe you go, and they will give 10 people money, to collect their money and give them something. They will not pay. And finally, a debt will be created. So I don't want the NGC to be part of the Women's Bank. I want them to allow it to the professionals to deal with it. They should not use it to make money. They should allow it. They should, for God's sake, fear God and allow the system to work. That's all what I'm praying for when it comes to the Women's Bank. That is even if it will come. Because commercial bank is there. It is across 261 districts. Why don't you look for just a place at commercial bank so that they will start giving monies out? Why? Why do you want to establish a bank?
Okay.
Must you establish a bank? You can put a shelf and call it the Women's Bank. What is important is them giving loans with low interest rates for women to be able to go and collect and do their business.
Very well. So you had Janet Labla, who was the 2024 presidential candidate for one of the opposition political parties. That's the People's National Party. Let me take some of your messages coming in, and this one is from Davis Sena. He says, thank God the majority of Ghanaians appreciate what President Mahama and his government are doing. Mahama Twa. So let me take some of your messages. This one says okay, it's good. This one is also from Rexona. He says that Okay, so I think his comment is in response to the submission from Madam Janet Nabla. He says, didn't she hear the finance minister say the Women's Bank will start operating before the end of year? She said he's daring Janet to deny whether this economy is not better than before. That's from Rexona. And Francis in Accra says, hi, Class FM. The money NPP was wasting then was not in her money. What did she say then? I think his comment is also in response to that of Janet Nabla. He doesn't agree with her. He says NDC won't give a right. So let's keep and let's take some more messages. This is from Komla Clifford, Stone City Mayor, Ho Central Constituency. He said minorities questions over market women should have approach the finance minister Kasiala to force in mid-year budget review in parliament is neither here or there. Utu Senya is members of the governing party in power must do the needful and logical concern protest against the party. And one more, this one says, how can an inspiring mid-year budget review be at the same time overly optimistic? A frustrated elephant indeed. Hashtag 505. That's from Prosper from Dowenya. And why would the honorable talk like this? He should mention the market which is waiting for the finance minister. He should apologize to the market women. Why are they doing this in Ghana's parliament? Good evening, Class FM, Mary in home. So Doc, let me come back to you. So you've heard from some of the opposition political parties, particularly the People's National Party, Janet Nabla. She raised serious concerns and she's not happy with the mid-year budget review presented by the finance minister yesterday in parliament. She said that the rankings, the finance minister announced that we are 8th according to the IMF sheet. We are 10th. She also talked about the 950,000 move from multidimensional poverty, and she also talked about the Women's Bank, saying that she feels the Women's Bank is going to be politicized, just like, and she stated other institutions. From what you said as a communicator for the NPP, what are your response to her comments briefly, so that we can continue with this conversation?
We are a tolerant, accountable, open party who like to be critiqued. Because in criticism, we only get better. All right? But I've got a couple of responses for her. Women's Bank, I'm sure if she had listened carefully, I'm not sure what budget she was listening to. If she had listened carefully, she would have realized that the minister said by the end of this year, the bank will be rolled out and it will be running. The money has been voted towards it, parliamentary approval. The bill has been signed into law. Listen, if we in the NDC had wanted to cut corners, we could have cut corners regarding this bank. If all we wanted to do was have people clap for us and say that we have put on the bank, we could have done that. But listen, we are looking for an infrastructure that will outlive our legacy. We're looking for an infrastructure that would continue even when we are no longer in power. The NDC is a very pragmatic party. We do know that at some point we will not be in power. When that is, we will know. Unless our opponents can organize themselves, we might be in power till that kingdom come. But even then, we do know that at some point, reality will hit in. At some point, yes, we would leave power. And what we want to do is that when we have left power, we want the Women's Development Bank to continue to thrive. It is here to stay. Look, if we wanted to cut corners, we could have gone to a post office and then put some money in the post offices and ask women to go and collect money from the post offices. That would have been one way to do it, but we don't want that. We want a bank that would outlive our legacy. And so therefore, if we are taking time, we are only taking time because we want to build something that will be permanent. We have seen, politically colored projects that haven't lasted. We have seen the 1D, 1F, the 1D, 1D, 1D. We have seen the 1D, 1F. We have seen, multiple things that haven't lived, beyond the government. We don't want that to happen in the case of the Women's Development Bank. And that is exactly why we are taking our time. But I can assure Ghanaians that by the end of this year, the bank will be rolled out and it will be truly here to stay and it will stay forever. Nabila might be lucky to be appointed to work in the bank one day, so let her not count that out. All right, if she's got the qualifications. She says NDC people should not go near it. I'm not sure what she means by that. That for me is quite parochial, and that for me is not intrinsic to our very being as a people. who are one body. All right. Anybody should qualify to work in these banks. And we as the NDC will not just want to open it up to only NDC, but it's open to any Ghanaian who can apply and get in. Look, some of our women need only 500 CDs. Some of our women need only 1,000 CDs. Some need only 2,000 CDs. You can't ask them to go to conventional banks. Some of them don't even have the credit facility, or as it were, they traveling businesses as collateral. So therefore, it cannot be like that. And so we want to set up this, and it will be here to stay. Will be here to stay after us.
Right.
She was talking about whether macroeconomics transition into our real pockets. Listen, it's a structural problem. All right. Not many economies can manage this at the same time. You get the basics right, which is the macroeconomic indicators. We have done that with control inflation. The CD is strong. We have managed debt to GDP ratio. So the right indicators are there. Borrowing is down. All right. Interest rates are down. So the indicators are there. And as the minister said, stabilization is not our final destination. Mm-hmm. Stabilization is our beginning. It's where we originate our journey from. All right, money in our pockets, employment for everyone, food on the table is our ultimate aim as a party. But let it be said that, let it be put on record that every stable CD means a stable kitchen table. All right, and for every saving Ghanaians make because the dollar is strong, that CD goes into improving our, food in the kitchen. All right.
So Doc, we have about 5 minutes to wrap up this whole conversation. But she also did mention about the Nkoko Nkitin project and the minority yesterday too. After the debate or after the presentation, I should say, also raised serious concerns about the Nkoko Nkitin project. But during the presentation, the finance minister defended the Nkoko Nkitin project after reports that some beneficiaries consumed the beds instead of raising them. So, what mechanism is the party putting in place to ensure the program achieves its intended purpose?
Look, we have charities that stand in the streets corners of London or New York and shake buckets and then raise $1, £1 here. That money is often brought into Ghana, and sometimes that money is given to families, by Oxfam, by Action Aid, by Plan Ghana, and so on and so forth. And sometimes all they do is buy a chicken and give to a family, or buy a goat and give to a family. And the idea is always that that family will be able to rear that goat or that chicken so it can produce, it can reproduce and recapitalize whatever investment they would have made into it. And these are foreign monies. This is money from charity. So who is it to say that we can't take our own tax and try and empower our own people? So what wrong have we done if we intend to empower Ghanaians to be able to have their own businesses by supplying them with, chickens to be able to, as it were, develop their own or grow their own poultry farms? I don't think we have done any wrong on that particular score. Of course, yes, there is the behavioral issue here. There's a psychological issue there. And look, who is it to say that somebody who you trust and has given capital to you will go and spend that capital? Now, those who have spent or eaten their Nkoko Nkitin has simply gone down that route. But no wise man or no wise woman ever spends their own seed or their own capital. We know that from Christianity. We know that in Islam, that you do not spend your seed, you sow it. These guys were meant to recapitalize their money and use that as evolving capital. Some haven't done that. But let it not be said that everybody who was given in Nkoko Nkitin ate it. No, that is not it. When the minister was very candid. The minister was very honest when he gave a state of the affairs on the Nkoko Nkitin project. And all he said was that some people have sold theirs and made money. Others have, asked for help to sell. And he has sent people from Accra who have gone into the districts and bought those things. But he also said there were some who ate their chicken because they couldn't get any buyers. So at what point did it become that every chicken that was given out was eaten for, on the food table? That is a palpable lie, and that is not true. But how do we intend to proceed from this? Obviously, the data is yet coming in. We only had a couple of districts. The data is coming in. Once that data comes in, we as a party will evaluate and we'll move on from there. We also intend to look at the next scale or scale this up, and the scalability will involve actually giving chickens to existing poultry farmers who have that know-how to go in and take this to the next level. So giving that in Nkoko Nkitin was a starting point. It was simply to rekindle, or as it were, to tell Ghanaians that there's a way you can manage your own affairs. Some did not do. But in every project, there is always a balance sheet you can strike. All right, but I think the positives outweigh the negatives in this particular instance.
Right. So finally, in 30 seconds, so we wrap this whole conversation up. What should Ghanaians use as the benchmark to judge the success or failure of this government's economic management by the end of 2026?
Listen, I think the most important thing that came to 4 years today was the fact that we as a government did not take an appropriation bill into Parliament. That probably speaks to why the NPP are angry. They were looking for a crisis. They were looking for, taxes to rise, and therefore they could go out with their agenda and their spin and their propaganda. That did not happen. They are quaking in their boots. On the contrary, by the end of this, year 2026, what do I expect? I expect the prudent management to continue. Again, don't forget that one of the reasons why we are probably talking about the fact that we are not spending would be because of, spending commitments, appropriation commitments, and value for money. The minister isn't saying don't spend. He's simply saying that you brought me something you want to buy. Is it in your budget? If it's in your budget, go and spend. If it's not in your budget, wait for the next budget. There's no problem there. We're not spending what we don't have. We're not doing what others did and spent money in ways that, did not help us. Sinking money into holes as cathedrals and running away and not giving accountability. That is not what we want to do as a party. So what do I expect? That by the end of 2026, the stabilized macroeconomics we see will begin to trigger into our pockets. And more people will be lifted out of poverty. There will be more money in our pockets, and there will be opportunities that we never have available to people. But let it not be said that we as a party are not spending. Let it not be said that we as a party are here to collapse economies. We as a party are here to move Ghana forward. And for those that it really matters, Professor Bodhi on FM today, on Joy today was saying that, look, criticize where it matters, but give credit where credit is due. And the credit is due the NDC, and let us do it.
Very well. So you heard Dr. Stephen Isaka, who is a member of the National Democratic Congress, NDC's communications team, and he has been our guest today on 505, running us through the whole 2026 mid-year budget review. We really do appreciate your time and your submission on the show. So it's now time for business, and Narendra Irajwa is seated.
And in business, Ghana's petroleum fund has grown to 1.64 billion US dollars at the end of the first half of 2026. This is according to the Bank of Ghana. The report says the fund recorded a net income of nearly 28 million US dollars during the period. Ghana's Heritage Fund closed with 1.46 billion US dollars after no withdrawal, while the Ghana Stabilization Fund ended with 182.68 million US dollars, following a withdrawal to about 133 million US dollars. To some other stories, Security and Exchange Commission has warned the public against investing with 23 unlicensed entities operating on social media and on online platforms. The Commission says the companies are not licensed to carry out capital market activities in Ghana and urged the public to avoid their investment product. It adds that it is working with law enforcement agencies to crack down on those behind the scheme. On international front, a new report has challenged widespread of anti-immigrant claims in South Africa, saying immigrants contribute more to the economy than many believe. According to the report, immigrants make up just 6.5% of the population, but contribute about 9% to the country's GDP. It concludes that poor governance and corruption, other than immigration, are the main drivers of South Africa's social and economic challenges. This is how I wrap up business on 505. My name is Irajwa Crunch.
Very well. Thank you, Irajwa, and belated happy birthday and happy weekend. And before I bring you some other stories, let me read some of your messages on our WhatsApp console 0500,000 0500,000 And this one is from William from Ho. He says, "Good evening. Yesterday's budget was fantastic. As for micro minority, they would never appreciate anything good coming from the NDC. I urge the government to focus on the good work they are doing for Mother Ghana." And he actually said the opposition will remain in opposition for many years to come. And this one is from Wanda Avite, and he says, "Good evening, Nana. While we welcome the recent budget review, it falls short of providing a practical and realistic roadmap for the Ghanaian youth who desperately need jobs and targeted economic support. We therefore urge the government to finally insulate the development bank from partisan politics so that it can genuinely drive national growth rather than repeating the setbacks of the past." So that's from let me get the name again. That's from Wanda Avete Ho Central. Now, on July 24, 2012, Ghana lost its sitting president, Professor John Evans Fifi Atta-Mills, in a moment that stunned the nation and marked a defining chapter in its democratic history. 14 years on, Ghanaians continue to honor a leader remembered for his humility, integrity, and unwavering commitment to peace. There's more in this following report eulogizing Ghana's late president.
I have just arrived from the U.S. where I undertook a regular medical checkup. Thank God, everything is okay.
Today marks 14 years since Ghana lost its sitting president, Professor John Evans Atta-Mills, whose leadership continues to shape conversations around peace, unity, and democratic governance. Professor John Evans Atta-Mills passed away on July 24, 2012, while serving as President of the Republic of Ghana, marking one of the most significant moments in the country's fourth republic. At the time of his death, Professor Mills was 68 years old and had served as president since January 2009 after winning the 2008 presidential election. His passing made him the first sitting Ghanaian president to die while in office. The news of his death shocked the nation and drew tribute from political leaders, institutions, and citizens across Ghana and beyond.
And I think that I should let you know. I was waiting for the Anas video to be shown, and that confirmed the reports that I've been having all along. Officers of customs, you are Ghanaian citizens. You have to help us to build a better Ghana. But if this is the kind of behavior, this is the kind of attitude that you have, you are not helping us in any way. Indeed, today, I came to express my disgust and my revulsion at the way some of you are helping to erode the benefits that we are making or we have to give to our people.
Despite the grief that followed, Ghana's democratic institutions remain strong as then Vice President John Dramani Mahama was sworn in as president on the same day in accordance with the Constitution, ensuring a peaceful transfer of power. Professor Mills was widely respected for his humility, integrity, and calm leadership style. During his time in office, he emphasized national unity, peace, constitutional governance, and the need for political tolerance. Known affectionately as Asumdriehene, the King of Peace, his approach to leadership was characterized by dialogue and a commitment to maintaining stability, especially during periods of intense political competition. Before becoming president, Professor Mills had served as vice president under President Jerry John Rawlings from 1997 to 2001. He also worked as a legal scholar and lecturer, contributing to academia before entering active politics. His administration oversaw several initiatives in areas including infrastructure development, education, healthcare, and economic management, while his personal values and leadership style remained central to how many Ghanaians remember him.
My partner in all this is Excellency John Dramani Mahama. So if we've been given a seal of approval, it also extends to him. So what I did yesterday was only a formality, but in accordance with our established rules. He has a track record, and I want him to continue, the way he has been helping us, since we assumed office. We are going to remain focused and then help to build a better Ghana at the end of our first.
So that was a Newsdesk report eulogizing the life and legacy of Ghana's late President John Evans Atamos. And from us here at Class 91.3 FM and the 505 team, we say may the soul of Ghana's late President, His Excellency John Evans Fifi Atamos, continue to rest in perfect peace. So that's how we draw the curtains today on 505. But before I go, sometimes big movement starts with small things. A call to a loved one, a Momo transaction to support family, a bundle to grow your business. But what if they could lead to something bigger than you ever imagined? With the MTN A30 promo, every call, every text, every browse, every Momo transaction, every connection to home fiber, and every activity on the My MTN app earns you point towards amazing rewards, including 9 brand new Toyota Land Cruiser Prados, over 10 million Ghana cedis in cash prizes, and unforgettable experiences just for you. Because every move counts. Dial *530*#, or use My MTN app to participate now and let's stay connected everywhere you go. MTN A30 promo, make every move count. Terms and conditions apply. Now, Review Scratch for Win is here to change your life for good. Just dial *850*5# and win up to 1 million Ghana cedis or more in cash prizes instantly. It is easy, it's exciting, and it's regulated by the National Lottery Authority. So the steps: 1, simply dial *850*5# on all networks. Choose your station to play games. Select stake amounts from 5 cedis to 2,000 Ghana cedis. Choose your lucky card out of 5 options. Confirm gameplay and enter your Momo PIN. Receive your game results and winnings instantly. It is fun, easy, and exciting. Review Scratch for Win. Scratch Keke discuss bam. Review is strictly for persons 18 years plus. Review Scratch for Win is powered by Super Cash Games. My name is Nana Agyemang Prempeh. We're wrapping up 505 in a grand style for this week. Catch us with fresh energy with your man KOJ on Monday. But for more news, visit classfmonline.com. Thanks for doing the listening.
Charlie, notifications. Oh, hey, you make hot pass.
Charlie, some small Momo loan where I take. Deadline be last week. They know they allow me breathe.
You why you for breathe?
Hey, guy, we can't talk that.
You they go take money. Time catch. You know they won't pay back. Huh? You know say no they end with you, right? You pay back, the next person self get chance. Somebody will really they need them.